Yo, what's up, everybody? Check 1 2, check 1 2. Let me know if you can hear me okay out there. Today is Friday, March 22nd. Whoa, the month sure has gone fast. March 22nd, and this is the Conscious Resistance Live episode number 99. Next week, well, maybe next week I'll be off, but in the coming weeks I'll be at number 100 after 5 years. I finally reached 100. If you guys can hear me okay, please let me know. Post a comment in the chat. Give me a thumbs up, something like that. If you want to chat along, yo, what's up, everybody? Hey, how you guys doing? Cool. All right, and if you want to share this link, that's always appreciated. For those of you who are new here, you might want to join our Discord chat. You might want to join us on minds.com. You can sign up to follow our text list on remind.com, which all these links are posted in the video description. But yeah, just get plugged into us. We're not on Facebook, we're not on Twitter, we're not on Instagram, but we are live here every Friday evening, and I post regularly in the Telegram, the Discord chat. I post regularly daily on minds.com and in my text group. So yeah, if you want to get plugged in, that's the way to do it. I appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. Let me know if you can hear me better now. I turned it up a little bit. I've been fighting a cold for like a couple of weeks since I first got in. Yeah, and let me know where you're checking into. That's the other thing. I got Colt 45 checking in from Vancouver, Washington. I would love to hear where you guys are tuned in from. And the whole point of that is if you're listening, you can see where other people are listening from. We always have some good friends from Melbourne, from Australia. What's up, Dave? And maybe you find somebody that's near you and you get connected and plug in with each other and start doing things in your community. Sorry, I missed the conference call. Yeah, we're going to talk about that conference call a little bit today. You see the title of today's episode is called You Can Be Free If You Make the Effort, and I'll tell you why I named that. But I want to tell you a few different things. I'm going to probably do a more official video on this in the coming days, but I was just saying a moment ago I've been fighting a cold, and you guys, if you've listened the last couple weeks, or maybe if you can hear it in my voice the last few weeks, I've been just like thinking my allergies. I have bad allergies is what I've been told my whole life, and I sneeze a lot, and it's just, it's been a whole lot of craziness. And I think I recently found out why, or at least part of the reason. And it's just, I guess, the reason I want to share this is just, the whole idea of taking care of our body as a temple, and then realizing that maybe you haven't always treated your body like a temple. I definitely haven't always. So you guys know my story of just getting into drugs and spending a lot of time hopping from drug to drug and drinking and just all kinds of different things and just doing a lot of damage to my body over the years, like crystal meth, cocaine, alcohol, ecstasy, like mass amounts of these types of medicines, you could say. And my body has paid for it. I definitely believe in the power of the ability and the power of our bodies to recover. I think I'm a living example of that. Just seeing how much we can go through, and how we're able to, our bodies can still repair, despite the nonsense, the craziness that we put them through. So I'm fully aware of that, but I'm also very aware that, it's been pretty rough, and that in those years of drinking and partying and using drugs, that I wasn't really, wasn't taking care of myself. I hadn't gone to the dentist in I don't know how many years. I haven't been to any doctor in quite a while, and I eat fairly healthy. And I think I eat healthier than probably most of the average. I don't know what the heck average is, the average person, right? But I still have definitely not been to the dentist regularly, for example, things like that. And I finally decided to go to the dentist. One of my big goals of this year, in addition to moving into my RV and trying to focus on building an intentional community and finding somewhere to feel healthy and meet all my needs in a way that's real, my big goal has been to take care of my health. So I grew up like going to the doctor a lot. I was a really sick child, at least that's what they told me, and they put me on all kinds of medicines. And I had ear surgeries. They said I was going to be deaf by the time I was 25, and I was constantly in the hospital and constantly sick and all this kind of stuff. So I've always dealt with that. But then when I was 14, I got kicked in the face. I had my first concert, which was pretty cool. I thought it was cool. I got kicked in the face. And I lost this tooth right here. So this has been like a fake tooth most of my life. And apparently it just got like infected over time. Like I said, I haven't been to the dentist in at least like 15 years. Kind of feel like I take care of myself, but then you really stop and you're like, man, maybe I really haven't been taking care of myself. And yeah, I'm just sharing some real stuff here just because I think our health is obviously important. I talk a lot about spiritual health, and I do believe I'm a vegan. I try to work out fairly regularly. I just like biked like 30 miles today. That's just kind of, just getting around town, right? So I try to stay active, but this whole incident, going to the dentist after 15 years, not only seeing that, okay, I got a few cavities, I got to get some wisdom teeth pulled, I need like a deep cleaning, but more than that, this fake tooth that I just mentioned has over the years developed into an infection inside my gum and up into my sinus cavity, which is probably a huge reason why I have like sneezing all the time and sniffles and allergies and sinus. Like right now I need to blow my nose, and I'm going to do that in a minute if you guys don't mind. And just realizing like how many, like my immune system has definitely been weak. When I was on the road in Costa Rica, I got like a little sty in my eye and just different signs of my body showing that my immune system's weakened by different things. I don't know, but also just probably by this freaking infection. So this tooth right here got infected, and now it's like infected in my gum, and it's up inside my sinus cavity. They showed me the x-ray and you could see it. And it's obviously that can interfere with my ear too. In my ears, I've been getting like ear problems for a couple of years now. So yeah, overall, in general, it was like just a good reality check, because if you don't know about like getting infections up here in your face, like that could kill you. It can lead to like, getting into your heart and just all kinds of different things. So it freaked me out a little bit. I've been feeling like I'm going to die. I've been having some like weird kind of nightmares, or afraid to go to sleep, or just trouble breathing. But overall, like I said, I think I'm fairly healthy of a person and active, but this just made me realize like, holy crap, my health could be so much better. And I've got this just like, I want to get this thing out of my face. And the dentist said to do it as soon as possible. And this is a dentist I found that doesn't use fluoride and, doesn't use like mercury fillings and just these kinds of things. So yeah, I'm getting some money together, and I had to I haven't had insurance or anything like that. I'm not really plugged into that world, but I had to get insurance for this specific case, and I'm going to be getting some hefty like face stuff done soon. In a couple weeks, I'm going to get like teeth pulled and deep cleaning and this infection, fixed and all kinds of stuff. And hopefully I'll be feeling much, much better after that. But yeah, just sharing with you guys a little bit about what's going on behind the scenes, kind of while I'm out here writing articles, making videos, and thinking of ways to get off the grid and to wake people up. Like I'm also struggling with my own personal health, and just having not treated my body like a temple and not recognized the power in my own self, and not respected that, really is what it comes down to, because I didn't have the self-love or the self-worth to think that I was worth taking care of, just like, whatever, I'll just eat shitty food and eat a bunch of drugs and just, do all this kinds of stuff. And then I think about other people who aren't doing destructive things. Like I imagine that if I didn't eat as good as I do now, if I was still out there like drinking sodas and just, I don't know, like eating poison food, weakening my immune system even further and being completely lazy and, not active in any way, that my immune system probably would have been even worse. And I mean, shit, I could have died. So yeah, it's just been a weird feeling, but also just, again, like I said, a good like reality check of like, take care of yourself and just feeling good about moving forward into that. So I just wanted to share that with you guys to let you know kind of what's going on in my personal world as we move into some news and things that I want to share with you guys. So, first things first, if you haven't been to theconsciousresistance.com lately, please do me a favor. Please just do me a nice little favor. Go over there and give it a look, give it a check, see what's happening over there. You can look at our website right here, and you can see all the new content we're putting out. I've put out new articles this week regarding Monsanto and their trial. We might talk about this. Kayla Moon, who's one of the other contributors here, she put out an interview she did recently. I put out an article we're going to talk about called Dear Big Tech and Government, Censoring Videos of Terror Attacks is Not the Answer. I turned the Finders documentary into a short little article piece that you might be able to share with your family and friends called Police Documents Reveal 30-Year-Old Cover-Up of Child Sex Abuse. And I've also continued to push the archives of my radio show here in Houston, Freethinker Radio, which, by the way, airs every Monday and Friday, so it aired earlier today. I will be posting the new episode. Excuse me. I will be posting that new episode tomorrow morning to the YouTube channel for those of you who seem to enjoy watching those, because it's cool. We've had a lot of call-ins. We had a lot of call-ins about vaccines and vaccinations, and I got quite a bit to share about that. But I'm trying to be patient. Maybe I'll tell you guys a little bit about some new vaccine stories that I'm going to do. But as I said, here is our Discord channel. If you've not checked out Discord, all the links are in the description below this video. And I've created different channels here. You can introduce yourself to the crowd. We've got about, 180, almost 200 people in here. We have a chat room where you can talk about all kinds of different things. Talk about anarchist philosophy, general philosophies, conspiracy theories, health, news, spirituality, parenting, technology, the Finders. You can just share music if you want to share music you like with people. So that is there. That's also another way to keep in touch with me, to connect with me. And then, of course, I'm going to keep pushing this because I want you guys to join, because it's so much easier and better than relying on seeing a notification from YouTube. You just sign up for my text list, and when I put out a new video, new article, new live show, you just get a text, and it's just a reminder. I'm never bugging you. Here's the link right here, remind.com/join/dbjourno. And I think there's also an easier way. Let me see if I can do this. If you text, okay, cool. So text @dbjourno, as in Derrick Broze Journo, to the number 81010, and you can get signed up right now to the text list. So that's all you got to do. Text @dbjourno to 81010, and then follow those instructions, and it will get you set up for my text list. And this is I'm going to continue to try to build this in addition to the email list, because you guys can text me through this app, but you don't actually have my phone number, and I don't have your phone number. The app just saves it there, and so we can keep up with each other and communicate with each other without being up in each other's business. And as I said, it's just these maybe once or twice a day with a link to the video or article, and you can watch them at your convenience. And then finally, as we wrap this commercial up, you can find me at minds.com/theconsciousresistance-network, where I'm posting all of this content, excuse me, including new videos like today, where I put out Drag Queen Storytime Reader was a registered sex offender, and then also algorithms are already controlling our lives. We've had quite a bit of new videos this week. I'm trying to stay on my schedule. For those, again, who are not aware, we do this Monday through Friday. I put out new videos. I do this live show every Friday where we cover all kinds of topics. I take your questions and just try to dig through the news and show you what's going on. But at the same time, the reason this show is titled, what the heck did I title it? It's titled, hold on, let's go back here. You can be free if you make the effort. Okay, the reason it's called that is because you can be free if you make the effort. And I get sick of just talking about the news every week. The only reason I make videos is not because I feel obligated to. It's just like I see something going on, and I'm like, oh my God, I think I have something to say about that. I want people to think about that. I want people to talk about that. So after a while, though, it does get old just talking about, hey, here's more facial recognition, here's more surveillance, here's more police tracking, here's more police assaults, here's more division, here's more fear, here's more war, here's more extortion. I mean, I'm going to keep shining a light in the darkness forever just because I can't keep my mouth shut. But I'm more excited and wish more of you would pay attention to things like the conference call we just had last week, the Intentional Community Call #1, which has only about 400 views. And then when I talk about, every time I talk about Epstein or I talk about 5G, those videos tend to be reviewed the highest because you guys are obsessed with Epstein and pedophilia and exposing them, which obviously I understand because I'm covering it. And your 5G is a really hot topic right now because it's being rolled out. My point is, like, if I talk about those people, I talk about the drama, I talk about the problems, more people paying attention. Then when I talk about the solutions, say, hey, let's all talk about growing our own food or permaculture or intentional communities or solutions of any kind. I've known this for years, just from organizing in Houston. I've told this story that, like, you know, we were involved in the March Against Monsanto, and the March Against Monsanto wants to go to the same area that everybody usually goes to, the same part of town, and go there and march and go in circles and, you know, yell and scream and do that whole thing. And we do that for 4 or 5 hours, and the cops direct us. It's just like there's no spontaneity, there's no real challenging of anything, and it's just same old thing, right? But then when we come up and say, hey, how about after the march and walking around circles, we all go to the permaculture farm or the local community garden or you know, the local co-op or something like that. Let's do some volunteering. Let's learn about our food and how we can take care of ourselves. When you talk about that, you have such a small portion of the crowd actually show up. So maybe 500 people come out to the march and rage and hold the signs and scream and chant. And again, that can be valuable because it feels good when you get to hear your voice for the first time and express your voice. But after a while, it can only go so far. Then instead of, you know, once you take that 500, instead of them actually, what are the solutions? What can we do to empower ourselves? You have less than a handful of people that actually show up to the garden and learn how to grow their own food, learn about permaculture, learn about getting off these centralized systems and taking care of themselves. So that's a big part of this is, you know, that people are not focused on the solutions, and that even like it's obvious to me in my video count. Like my channel is still just about under 30,000 subscribers. I'm thankful for every single one of you. We've tripled just in the last 4 or 5 months since November, and I'm grateful for that, and I'm going to keep doing good work to bring you guys in. But at the same time, I've noticed since the very beginning that my most viral videos are typically like, okay, it's the documentaries talking about the crazy stuff, or it's the confrontations with the police, or it's the, you know, city council videos, different things like that, right? It's not the solutions, not the interviews that I give you guys with like Rob Greenfield or Stephen Brooks or other people who are talking about solutions, or it's not my Freedom Cells videos necessarily, although many of you do who understand the power of Freedom Cells. So I think that's a big part of the issue, is that where is your focus? Where is your intention? What's guiding your world and directing you? Is it focusing on those quote unquote negative things, or is it looking in the mirror first and saying, okay, if I want to see change in the world, then I need to see change in my own self, in my own life, in my own path. I can't expect, or you can choose to do whatever you want, but if you live your life expecting other people to take care of things for you, you're going to end up very disappointed. And if you also go around the world living your life as if you're a victim constantly of circumstances or of reality of whatever, and expecting other people to take care of it, then you're also going to end up disappointed. So at some point we have to step up to the plate, look in the mirror and say, whatever you got to say, I can offer some things, but at the end of the day, we each have our own individual trauma that affects us in different ways, and doubts and fears and insecurities and all that good stuff that I talk about. And so it's up to each of us to work to being the best of ourselves, I believe, to take the holistic approach, to work on healing, to work on empowering, to work on educating, and shedding the shackles and letting go of these systems that don't serve us. And by doing so, we begin the conversation, the mental process of looking for solutions and looking for reality. So yeah, that's what I'm after. That's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to go check out some of these comments here. I'm a little bit backed up on the comments. 3 vitamins I recommend you should incorporate: green algae, vitamin D, vitamin C. I've been getting back on my vitamins and really just hitting the good stuff. I appreciate you putting a lot of content out. I know it can be hard. Hey, I'm trying to keep up as much as I can. I know you guys, while you guys enjoy it, I'm going to put it out there. If you find it valuable, then, you know, I appreciate that. And if you do find it valuable, you know, I'm not one to plug the Patreon much, but Patreon does help me and make my life a little bit easier. I've got about $400 coming into that, and that's been helping fund the documentaries. And at the moment, while we're taking a break from the documentaries, it goes towards just helping me do what I do. And so it's all appreciated. A video suggestion on a lighter topic: how to make a greenhouse, gardening, aquaponics, and how to build a desk or bookshelf. Joe, I definitely appreciate those ideas. And that's the thing is I want to go towards, not stopping to talk about the news and the important dark issues, but also as I'm upgrading my RV and visiting these communities and these intentional farms, highlighting that and showing that to you guys. So my channel is going to evolve over time. Permaculture is socialism. That's just not true. I mean, maybe you could argue that some of the things talking about like some elements could be interpreted economically to be, socialist economics, I guess. But overall, permaculture is a design philosophy that applies to life and also growing food and things like that. Let me blow my nose real quick. I apologize. No, that's gross. Um, Government is socialism. Government is socialism. How is permaculture socialism? It's not socialism. Grow your own THC. Yes. Who own it and who decides dividing the bounty? Permaculture has nothing to do with dividing up any kind of bounty. It's there's millions of ways that permaculture can be applied. There's not like a single rule book. Most people who are into permaculture will even tell you that. You have to maintain profit to own property on this planet. I don't know what this guy's talking about. Derrick, if you haven't, do you have any primitive survival skills? If so, you should make videos on that as well. I'm trying to learn more about foraging. Let me see. All right, these are a couple of books that you guys might be interested in. I talked about this book in the intentional community video. It's called Creating a Life Together, and it's all about practical tools to grow eco villages and intentional communities. This one I've had for a little while, and I want to start looking more into edible and useful plants of the Southwest, Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona, including recipes, teas, spices, medicinals, harmful plants, natural dyes, and textile fibers. So, edible and useful plants. And then this one is amazing if you can find this online, Toolbox for Sustainable City Living. It's obviously focused on living in the city and doing permaculture and just sustainable and regenerative practices, all kinds of aquaponics and biogas digesters and a lot of really cool stuff. I've learned a lot from that over the years, but I live in an apartment currently, and I know that there are steps I can take, and I'm working more and more on that. We're trying to do more planting, gardening, and growing of our own food at a local community space, the old Freethinker house where I used to live, and doing some gardening there. And then also we're just working and supporting local farmers markets so that we're not dependent on the centralized systems. But I'm definitely trying to up my skills when it comes to primitive skills. And, I have a so-called bug out bag, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. I have a bag full of supplies, first aid kits, some backup food, things that I've got sent to me over the years from my grandmother. Seeds is currency. I've got some supplies and things like that in that regard. But I definitely could do a lot more, and that's one of my big focuses. This is why I'm trying to get myself healthy, because let's imagine the aliens invade us tomorrow, or the economic collapse, or the police state, or the climate, whatever, and then things start falling, whatever. It's like, your worst case scenario. If I got a freaking infection in my face, I don't know how long I'm going to last, and I need to get myself together to be as healthy as possible. This is the way I think. I want to be mentally, physically, and spiritually healthy in all ways, so I try to keep myself at least somewhat fit. I'm definitely not where I want to be, but healthy, right? And also I want to be able to be spiritually and mentally stable and things like this, right? So all around I want to be as balanced as possible, and that's what I'm focused on. And it's going to involve a lot of work. It involves a lot of time and a lot of effort, and I know it's not easy. And I think that's probably why some people shy away from making an effort, is because it's a lot of difficulty. There's a lot of trouble that comes along with actually trying to, build something different as opposed to just doing the same old thing. Joe, my nice man, my parents are Colombian. I want to move there. What part of Colombia? Cool. There's lots of conversation going on. It is gardening farming system that destroys nature. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Killing animals isn't optimal. I agree. Permaculture destroys nature. What are you talking about? Just came back from a conference in Tasmania where I visited a talk from Danny Wolf about the founding pillars of eco-villages. Nice. I'm definitely, that's kind of where I'm at, is just focusing on ideas of eco-villages, permaculture farms, etc. And just focused on these things, like actually living the solutions. You know what I mean? Because this is one of the reasons I'm glad I'm not on Facebook, is because even when I dip my toes here and there, and I see what old friends or activists are up to. I just see like the arguments and the debates taking place about whatever latest BS is going on during the week, and just see, I just see how stressed out I was and how ridiculous it is, and how I understand that many of you get stressed out. I mean, if you engage on that level, and I see some people coming and debating on some of my old videos about anarchist definitions and, anarchist definitions of this or that or future economics and things like that. And it's just like such a waste, I think. I love philosophy. I love debating and dissecting philosophy, but philosophy without action is just bullshit. It's just bullshit. I mean, that's why I love agorism, because it's all about action and, actually taking steps to get out of the mainstream system and dealing with the counter economy. So you live in a single family household. Yes, it's just me and my partner. Stacy, I think you got here a little bit late. I don't know if you heard me, but I actually went to the dentist, and this cold that I have is due to an infection that I have in my gums and in my sinus cavity that I'm going to be getting removed in the next couple weeks. I have to have like some teeth removed and just go through some crazy stuff in order to make this work. So all right, I don't know if you guys can still see me or not. It looks like the stream's been dropping out a little bit. But yeah, so I'm dealing with sickness. That's what's going on. And yeah, I do need a little bit more rest. But yeah, overall, anarchism without hyphens. You know what's up, Electronic HQ. I'm an agorist. I'm just an anarchist. But even that, I'm just done with the labels. I want to spread the ideas and help people understand why force is immoral, why government is immoral and inefficient. But I also want to be around people who actually want to take steps to do things and accomplish what's going on in their lives. Derrick, there are people that want to take action, and we are in Houston. Let's get those people together and make change. I agree, and this is why I started talking about freedom cells. For those of you who might not have heard me talk about freedom cells in the past, it's all about decentralizing, localizing, organizing with people, coming together to get off the grid in different ways. Whatever that means, whatever that looks like to you, and for me, that's not a commune. I don't know who Von Dozel is or what he's talking about, but you don't have to live in a commune to work with other people. That's just like a silly idea. You can have a single family household and we all live in the same neighborhood and we cooperate and grow together. I've lived in community houses, not communes. We didn't share money. We didn't share profit. We just shared rent, and we all paid at our own equal part. And we put on events. We had community gardens. We had benefit shows. We did a lot of great things living together with other people. But currently, that's just not where I'm at. And I'm really at a point where living together with other people, either on the same piece of land or even just near each other, is where I'm focused on, because I want to find a way to work together with people. I'm also, as I've said in the past, kind of not an isolationist, but I definitely enjoy my own solitude and my time with my family and my kind of little bubble and doing my thing. But I obviously can't accomplish everything I want alone, at least not at this point. I've definitely seen some really powerful people, couples alone, who do some great things on their community ground and on their property, and they just build beautiful things. So I know what is possible. I've seen an example of just creating paradises where people are just have so much food, and it's just your needs are being met. I've also finding more and more solutions for mesh networks and alternative communications, and being able to communicate, have some type of internet system, even if it's not the World Wide Web, but being able to communicate without being dependent on these mainstream systems, without being dependent on big tech and the wireless companies, and without being dependent on the mainstream grocery systems, and without being dependent on the state, and without being dependent on the corporations to meet my needs. I'm also, I like to question things like consumerism. I know there are a lot of people who think that, I don't know, there's a lot of different opinions in my crowd of supporters on money, and I don't think money is necessarily the root of all evil. I don't think abolishing money is the answer. I think there will always be some form of currency, but I'm also not just a blind consumerist, and I'm a minimalist too. So I get stressed out if I own a lot of things, and right now I currently own too many damn things, and it's really stressful, right? But my point here is that I'm just, because of my minimalism and because of my questioning of consumerism, I don't want to just buy constantly from the grocery store, from the corner store, from the whatever, from the corporations in general. I want to question myself and where is this need to spend money or to purchase something? Is that just like another dopamine hit, dopamine rush, just like the likes on Facebook and all these kinds of things. My point is just questioning yourself, questioning your understandings, and trying to get into the deeper understanding of yourself as who you are as an individual and what do you really need to survive. You know, I'm not saying we should all just be bare minimalists just because I personally am, and that's all you need to be happy. You know, some can have more than others. That's just that's freedom, right? And this is why I don't support leftists and others who say that people who make too much money should be taxed, or you know, you have too many for while others have none, so thereby we should take from you. Look, if you earn via state privilege, if you use your influence and your power to bend the government and the state to your will so that you can gain financial advantage, then I think that's wrong and immoral, and yeah, fuck that. But generally, if somebody is an entrepreneur and they create a successful business and they voluntarily contract with laborers and workers to build a business and they become successful, then, you know, that's, I don't hate on them. They might have more things than I want to have or choose to have or whatever, but that's them. That's not me. I just know that, dang it, I can't stand having too many possessions. And I sometimes find myself just with the need to like go to the grocery store and buy something. Like I already have food in the fridge. I already have food here. Like, what do I need this for? Do I just want to do something that's an impulse, right? And I'm getting more and more into questioning my impulses. And why I'm sharing this, the reason I'm sharing these ideas is because my title is "You Can Be Free If You Make the Effort." And again, I'm not talking just about being free in the physical realm, but I am talking about that. But I'm also talking about being free in the emotional, the personal, psychological, mental, spiritual realm, the deeper realms, and being able to be the one in control of your own headspace. I've said this before, that this is the most important real estate here. Everybody is trying to get up inside your head. John Trudell talked about mining your minds, that the psychopaths, the controllers, are mining the planet for resources, but they're also mining our minds for our greatest resource, which is this space right here. And everybody's trying to get in there. So the deeper you know yourself and you question your presuppositions and you question your biases and you think critically, you can understand yourself on a deeper level, and you can question and say, why do I feel the ways that I do? Why do I think these things that I do? If I have no direct experience of it, is this just something I picked up through TV and through movies and through propaganda on YouTube, or propaganda on the MTV Music Awards, or propaganda from my parents, or propaganda from school, or propaganda from the military, or from the doctors, or from other credentialed figures who promise that they know what's best for me? We have to question these things. That's the deeper issue here. You know, we can argue about the surface features all day, and I can talk to you guys all day about how there's more surveillance going on and people are being screwed and bombs are dropping, and it is important to acknowledge those things, but at the same time we have to be able to get our minds strong and overcome those sort of battles that are taking place. Give a shout out to the Freedom Cell Discord. Yeah, check out the Freedom Cell Discord. David F right there in the chat is hosting conference calls. You know, I did a couple of these. I haven't done one in a little while. But Dave is kind of keeping it live, keeping it going. So you want to plug in with Dave for sure on the Freedom Cells channel. All right, I think we're keep losing connection for some reason, but maybe you guys can see me now. But yeah, check out Dave, Freedom Cell channel. And what else we got? Let me check out these comments. Consumerism is the capitalist goal. We need to be the change we want to see. Yes. Attachment to materialism is not cool. How do you cope when you feel really, really bad emotionally? Good to question impulses. Fasting is one practice that helped me with that. Easiest way to make changes with your wallet. Don't buy the products you don't like. Proof you're sheep dipped. You use the word leftists. Vote with your dollars. Slave speak. Blanket statements helps no one. I'm not sure who you guys are referring to. If you guys are talking to me, you know, you can tag me if you want. Otherwise, I have no idea if you're really trying to talk to me. I know y'all lost me for a moment. I've just been reading through the comments. How do you cope when you feel really bad emotionally? I'm going to answer that question. It seems like the chat is breaking up, unfortunately, tonight. Even though it says my connection's strong. We'll see. But Space Ace said, how do you cope when you feel really bad emotionally? I don't have the perfect answer for that. I've been seeing your comments. I see some of the things you post in various places, and about just feeling isolated and feeling alone. And although we're on different parts of the world, and I'm here in Houston, and it's a big city with lots of people, I definitely understand the feeling of feeling alone and isolated, especially when it comes to controversial topics and things that you care about, and trying to get people to wake up and to pay attention to those things. It's not always a fun or easy task trying to make that happen. But I think it's important to have these kinds of dialogues. This is why we all come online, right? Because even if we're the one person in our family, or the one of 20 in our town, or one of 100,000 in our city, we might not be able to connect to all those people. And the internet allows us to connect to each other and to share videos and to share comments and support each other in different ways, and maybe develop some types of relationships and support and friendships. And it's a very real thing. And I guess in some way, everything that we're doing here, everything that I've ever done through activism, organizing with the Houston Freethinkers, organizing for 5G, it comes down to support groups, I guess, in some ways. It's like a support group for people who are trying to wake others up, because it's stressful when you get into this idea of putting your time and your effort and your energy into something that's bigger than you, and that other people may never care about, that your results may never turn out the way you expected. I mean, you could basically be spending your energy trying to spread information when people who you're trying to spread it to think that you're crazy, right? I've gone through that, recognizing that, if you're really trying to wake people up and really care about the planet, then even the people who think that you're crazy, they're going to, they might not understand, they might not support you, but you're still doing it for them. So I can see, the video is breaking up a lot, at least on my end. Talking to people, everyone needs listening. Why do you tell people they're free when they're not? We're still all enslaved to an agenda. We have some freedom, but we are not free. Gematria Effect News. I love these guys that come in here and they're just super negative, and you guys crack me up, because the way that you guys talk is just like everything's screwed. There's nothing we can do. We might as well not even make an effort. I guess we should just sit around the internet and be angry and just do nothing. Yeah. All right, guys, I'm going to cover a couple of news stories that I wanted to get into. I was sharing with you guys a little bit that we've got new videos coming out. And, well, I don't know why this thing is disconnecting so bad. You guys probably can't hear me. 1 second. Huh? Yeah, the reason it's delayed is because I have one computer, a desktop, that's basically fried, and I'm having to run everything through my my laptop. All right, so let's get into the main things I want to talk about, because I don't really want to do any news stories. I did have a few. I was going to talk about the technocracy and some of that, but I could talk about that anytime. There's two main issues that I want to talk about with you guys, and then I'm going to go to the gym and get offline for the day, because this is just, I've had enough of playing with this internet. And not all think that way. Negative thoughts suck. And I'm not saying like don't be negative, because I've talked to you guys about that as well, that like part of the spiritual community that I've worked with, they're like, oh, don't talk about the pedophilia, or don't talk about the police state, don't talk about this, that you're going to manifest it, you're going to create the problems. And that's not at all what I'm saying. I'm just saying that basically the people who think that there's no solutions, who don't make any effort, I just don't have time for you guys anymore. I mean, you can be here, we can communicate, but I don't have time to sit here and try to debate you. If you're convinced that things are fucked and there's no solutions, then I'm sorry that you feel that way, but I would have to disagree, and I'm going to disagree. So let's get into talking a little bit about the intentional community discussion. As I said before, some of you guys are aware, we did this video this past weekend. We did this on a Sunday, the first intentional community call, and we went for about an hour and a half, a little bit over an hour and a half. And I was really happy with it. We had about 25 people on the call live. I've had another 5 or so reach out to me who want to be involved in the next chat. I don't know how often we're going to do this. Maybe just once a month. It's already almost April. So we'll do this again. And there was people talking about their land in Canada, people talking about their land in Costa Rica, people talking about land in Colombia, parts of the U.S., things like that. But overall, just trying to figure out. And if for those who are new and don't know, haven't read my books or don't know much about my work, I lay down in the first 10 minutes. At least watch the first 10 minutes. You can kind of hear the vision that I'm trying to build and what I'm working on. and the kind of people I want to work with, and also just the reality that I'm not sure that I will work with anybody. I might end up working alone because I don't want to. I just it's a big decision, right? Who we work with and how we organize on this level. But I know that I'm no longer satisfied to just sit still. Like, I'll still make YouTube videos. I'll still talk shit about what's going on in the world, but I'm going to do it from a place where at least I know that I'm getting my food in a sustainable way, where, you know, I'm meeting my needs, I'm learning more skills, I'm empowering myself, and maybe using the property as a school of sorts to show other people these same skills, to host musical events, to host community events, to you know, farmers markets, counter economic markets, all kinds of different ideas. This is why I want a piece of land somewhere to be able to work with. And I've given my reasons as well, and I give reasons in this video about why I'm not so sure the US is the place for me to do this, at least. Others obviously are going to have different opinions, and that's fine. You guys can decide where you want to do your communities and where you want to do your things. We can all still learn together. We don't necessarily have to work together in order to share knowledge and to share skills. You know, I'm learning from a lot of people who are more advanced in this than I am, who have come a lot further than I have. And yeah, I'm just trying to learn, trying to figure out how to do this. And I know that, again, it's like, I'm 34 years old now. I've been talking on the internet, making noise for 9, almost 10 years now. And what am I going to do? Just talk for another 10 years? Talk for another 20 years? Just talk until I'm dead and everything's around me that I've been talking about has come true? Because I see a lot of those people. There's people who've been talking about some of these same things, like going all the way back to Bill Cooper, Jim Mars, and a lot of these other indie journalists and reporters and researchers who've been talking about this for decades. And I'm glad they did. They shared information with us. But at the same time, none of those guys built a community or showed us solutions on how to take care of ourselves. And I guess that wasn't their role. But I want to be an example for other people. I also want to create the life that I want. And intentional community seems to me to be the only way to do that. Getting a piece of land, learning more about permaculture, getting more engaged in this way. So that's what I'm focused on. That's what I'm working on. And if you haven't joined, you can definitely comment in the chat, and I will get your email added. I'm going to send out an email to everybody who's a part of that call and to everybody else who asked to be a part of it, and just kind of recap the call. And we're going to set a date for next month and see if we can do it again. And I mentioned earlier, I don't know if it was choppy, if you guys can hear. I don't even know if you can really hear me that great right now, but the Freedom Cells Discord. Dave, go ahead and post that link in the chat if you can. Freedom Cells, of course, is an idea I've been promoting for years now, and now people like Dave in Australia and plenty of other good friends around the world are taking the idea and really running with it and promoting it and just getting people to organize and to localize. And these are the solutions. So I'm going to continue to present the news and things like that, but I also want people to wake up and realize that there are solutions. So someone's like, why do you tell people they're free when they're not? Well, there are levels to freedom. There's mental freedom. There's physical. There's levels to slavery. There's mental slavery, physical slavery, emotional slavery, spiritual slavery. Somebody can be very aware of the issues in the world, but perhaps they're a slave to their unhealthiness, to their body being overweight, or to their sicknesses and their infections and things like that. Or maybe they have emotional and spiritual traumas, and they're a slave to those things because they haven't taken the proper time to work through those traumas, right? So there's levels to this. So I don't think you can just say that people aren't free. Maybe we have some levels of being unfree in various areas of our life, but at the end of the day, a lot of it comes down to choice. And this is what agorism is about: counter economics, building, holistic anarchism, holistic activism, the conscious resistance. These ideas are about taking your life into your own hands and making shit happen instead of just complaining, crying, bitching, doing the same old thing we've done before, right? How many times have people complained and cried? That's probably happened forever, right? People have been complaining and crying a long time, trying to get things going. But how many people are actively taking those things seriously and seeking solutions? I don't know that many that are doing that. I don't really see a lot of people who are actually taking steps to get shit done. All right. If you are ever by a Social Security building by Fondren, stop by. Pollo Rico, all sides are vegan. Shameless plug. Cool, man. Thanks. Good to know. Internet slow because video streaming when people get home. I'm still kicking. All right, cool. 100% interested in building an intentional community. Whoever wants to contact me about the intentional community, email me at derrick@theconsciousresistance.com or intothelight@protonmail.com. Derrick at theconsciousresistance.com or intothelight@protonmail.com. So yeah, that's where I'm at, man. We got to get some solutions going, get some things done. Crystal, I think you're still there. You were asking about when the next 5G meeting is in Houston. I'm going to be sending out an email for everybody who attended the first meeting, and we'll be promoting another email or another event on Houstonians concerned with 5G. Those are my main two issues that I'm focused on right now. Of course, fighting 5G in Houston, exposing it, and also some of my other new investigations. I've got a new documentary, a little mini documentary that I'm putting together about 5G. And then we're going to work on the Pyramid of Power documentary, which is going to be like my big magnum opus, like 10 to 12 part documentary about all of the pieces of the Pyramid of Power that are out there. You know, banking cartel, the big education, the big pharma, big tech, the wireless companies, the government, you know, other corporations, the non-governmental organizations, all the secret societies, all these different pieces of the puzzle. That's what I'm going to be focusing on, and that's probably going to be the big project for 2019, is putting that documentary out, and to be really big, epic thing, probably a 3-hour documentary or so. We'll see. So let me catch up with the comments, and then I got one more story that I want to talk to you guys about. Derrick, when you have the FBI come to your door for speaking about how we can get free, then you'll know you're on the path. That's what happened to me this August 21st, 2018. We are not free. I'm not saying there aren't people out there who want to keep us from being free, but at the end of the day, man, you're only as free as you're willing to stand up for it. I'm not saying go out in a blaze of glory shooting cops or something like that. But I'm just saying freedom really is just a concept that human beings believe in. But at the end of the day, you're only free as much as you are willing to defend and protect that. So if somebody comes to you and says, hey, you're not free, and smacks you upside the head and says, I'm going to put you in a cage, I'm going to keep you in a cage, and they say, I'm doing so because the law says, because our law says that you haven't paid us enough money or this and that. If you decide to defend yourself, protect yourself, then I guess you can remain free. But if not, then you've acquiesced and said, all right, I'm only as free as these people let me be. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't consequences for fighting for our freedom. That's the beautiful aspect about this world and about this reality we live in. So, yeah, we are free if we choose to be. And after that, you know, it doesn't really change my opinion, man, if people have fucked with you or messed with you. Like, I've had people threaten my life, and that doesn't mean that I'm not free. It just means that people wish that they could control my life, they could control my freedom. Now, the last thing I want to mention, guys, and you shouldn't have to pay taxes to a corrupt government. Christina Petro, don't pay taxes to a corrupt government. Find ways to avoid that. If you guys ever looked up the war tax resistance, if not, look up the war tax resistance. That was one of the first things I researched when I started waking up. All right, I'm going to start wrapping it up. One little story, and I'm going to do a longer video on this, but I just want to share it live with you guys here, my YouTube audience, our live audience, live show here. Hope you guys have enjoyed. I know I haven't really covered too many news topics today, but I've been ranting and raving a little bit, covered a little bit of news, but mainly just kind of get you guys to see what's really going on and understanding that, you know, the people in power, they play a role in keeping us from being free. Just like this gematria effect news guy is obsessed with. He thinks that he's not free because they believe that, but he's giving away his own power. But again, we can be free if you make the effort, if you put in the time. You can be free from the centralized food production systems. You can be free from the state up to a point. That doesn't mean they're going to leave you alone forever. That doesn't mean they're not going to just, you know, leave you be. At some point, there probably will be some conflict. And this is what Samuel Konkin talks about in his books about agorism and counter-economics. He says the definition of a revolution is being able to survive the state's last dying breath, gasp, dying breath, where they wage an attack on the people who have decided to create free systems outside of their hand, to not go in politics, to not fight them violently, but to build something new. Those are the people that they're worried about. They're not worried about those of you who just want to keep playing the game and keep fighting the systems. I far more resonate with your approach in pairing consciousness with physical activism through agorism and anarchy. Thank you. That's exactly what I'm trying to do, man, is bring the balance to all that, like to exit the systems, but also to exit from their spiritual systems that are trying to control us. All right, so last story I want to cover. And again, this is not like something I really want to talk a lot about, but unfortunately it needs to be said, and I will save my deeper thoughts for another video. This is a video put out by Gasman Report, which is a new channel that has just been recently created because this guy's original channel called Living Outside of the Box, which Electronic HQ, if you're out there, that's one of our team members out there in the chat. You may remember that the Living Outside the Box channel, which is ran by a guy named Jeff, he actually filmed the indie media panel that I was on at Anarchapulco, and he let us host that video on our channel. I'll show it to you guys in just a second. Well, now he has had to create a brand new channel called what he's calling Gasman Report. And again, I know that the chat's kind of choppy. You guys might have some trouble hearing me, so I'm going to be doing another video just specifically on this. But after all of the bullshit I've had with Anarchapulco, and I've just did that video and I haven't talked any more about it because I felt like I said everything I need to say, my thoughts on the Anarchapulco 2019 drama. This is the video I'm talking about, Indie Media Panel Discussion on Censorship. This was filmed by the Living Outside the Box channel. He did a bunch of Anarchapulco videos, so this is from his camera. And then, wouldn't you know it, he starts getting letters, first emails, and then a phone call from Jessica Kill, who's the woman that I told you guys I had all these issues with, that all these people have had issues with, even though some of them still to this day, despite telling me privately they had issues, are now saying they had a great time at Anarchapulco and they had no issues and things like that. So here's one of those videos, the Indie Media Panel. Well, Jeff, first he got a letter from Jessica Kill. He talks all about this, so you guys can go watch his 50-minute video if you want to, but I'm just going to give you the brief background because I had already talked to him previously about this. Basically, this dude has a very small new YouTube channel. He goes to Anarchapulco, has a great time, he films a lot of the talks, and he posts them on his channel. There was no signs posted that say not to film and things like that. In the past years, everybody's filmed all the talks and put them out. But what we also know is that Anarchapulco tries to charge like a couple $100 for people to have access to the live stream like months after the talks. This is why Mark Passio got upset last year, because he wanted them to release his talk, but they were waiting because they were trying to charge people for it. Because they're focused on money, and not that there's a problem inherently with money, but these people, I could just, the more I see it and the more I research and look into Jeff Berwick's past, the more I can see these people don't really care about the message. Jeff asked me that himself, if I thought that he was genuine. I don't know. But I know Jessica Kill is still a big problem. So this guy goes to Anarchapulco, has an amazing time, puts the talks up. Jessica Kill contacts him and basically says like they want him to take down all his videos, especially of Ron Paul, especially of David Icke, and they ask him to cut his videos down to 5 minutes at the least and things like this. And he just says he's like, I didn't, he asked her for some evidence, asked her to like get Jeff to contact him, Jeff Berwick, or to just show her some evidence that, as she claimed, that his videos were costing them money because people were contacting them because they can see his videos for free or whatever, right? So, and again, in the video, he shows all these clips. And then this right here, he says he looked at the Anarchapulco manifesto and he was like, what the heck? We will not infringe on others' freedom. We will never impose our will on others. He's like, that doesn't really sound like what they're talking about here. And then he gets this letter from Jessica Kill right here. This is the one I was talking about. Basically saying that he should cut his videos down to 5 minutes. And so here's the email he received after he posted his first Anarchapulco video from Jessica Kill. Jessica at Anarchapulco right there, Living Outside the Box 7 at Gmail, February 26, 2019. Very nice to speak to you. We understand that you spent your energy on this. Please cut them down to 5 minutes. While anarchy means no rulers, it does not mean no rules. We as an organization held a private event on private property and had to create agreements for us to follow in order to have the event. That included agreeing not to tape David Icke or Ron Paul. We have already received notices about your videos. Now that may have been true. Maybe the David Icke and Ron Paul didn't want their stuff to be filmed, because I've seen that before, because David Icke does these super long talks. Well, then he wakes up and look, he gets this message where literally his entire channel had been taken down, and all of this, look, Benny Wills, Anarchapulco, Max Egan, Anarchapulco, Derrick Broze, Anarchapulco. Literally every video he put up there, Johnny Dupre, he was issued a copyright takedown order. And look at this, contact info, Jessica at Anarchapulco. Who issued the takedown order? Jessica at Anarchapulco. This woman who has already caused all these problems, who supposedly has had some anarchist conversion, is issuing copyright takedowns. She's literally asking Google, the company that owns YouTube, who we all know is closely tied to the government and CIA and censors people. She's using them. No, it's not a government, right? You could say, okay, well, is she using the government's force? But that's the problem with some of you guys, that you don't understand that force and violence can come in other ways. The YouTube and Google CIA complex is well known. And this woman, Jessica, who works for Anarchapulco, a supposed Anarchapulco event, who supposedly had an anarchist conversion, who signs her emails, peace, love, and anarchy, is issuing takedown orders through YouTube based on copyright claims. And look, I have this same video up. For some reason, I haven't been issued the copyright claim. Maybe they think that this guy just has a smaller channel and they can get rid of him because, you know, he also had a lot more videos, but still, this is the exact same video he had, and I haven't been contacted. And it's just silly. And you guys may say, okay, like, who cares, Derrick? Like, you know, let it go. And I'm, like I said, I'm going to do one video to go a little more in depth, just do this isolated take. But it's just, to me, further evidence, and it corroborates my gut feelings. And this sucks because this dude, Jeff, is a really cool guy. And he goes further into this video. I haven't got to watch the whole video, but he shows all his communications with him. He says he actually recorded his conversation with Jessica Kill. And he does play little clips of some of the videos that he took there. And it's funny because the clips and the talks he's recording, they actually seem to contradict the way that the Anarchapulco organizers, mainly Jessica Kill, are now acting and behaving. So this is no longer me. They can blame it on me and say, oh, I was mad that I didn't get paid, or mad for this or that, and just say whatever BS they want. But this is just a regular dude who has become a fan of this movement and thinks he might be an anarchist even though he doesn't like the label, and came there, did ayahuasca, says he had a good time, but overall just, you know, he had a bad experience at the poker thing. Jessica didn't help him there. He had a bad experience with this, and now she's literally took down his channel. His channel's gone, by the way. He had to start a new channel. He's got 16 subscribers, so maybe show him some love. Gasman Report, it was living outside the box, and now that's gone. So thanks to Jessica Kill and the anarchists over at Anarchapulco, this man's channel has been taken down. Will my channel be next? I don't know. I might have to make a backup channel just in case they issue a copyright takedown to me for having this Anarchapulco video filmed by that same guy. I just want to remind you guys also of the great words from Samuel Edward Konkin III. This is an essay he wrote called Copy Wrongs, about how copyrights and intellectual property and that whole thing just it conflicts with natural law and with, you know, it's BS, and it involves the state, involves using the force of state over other people. I don't believe in intellectual property. I don't believe that ideas can be owned, and, you know, you can't really convince me otherwise. So it's just sad to me to see that this is what's taking place. And I'll post this video for you guys in the chat so you can actually watch his video, of course, or you can just look it up on Gasman Report if you want to check that out. But overall, just another little disappointing piece of evidence that the people at Anarchapulco are not what they claim to be. And that's just my take. I'm just being real with it now. You guys can think otherwise. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys. Again, I'll be doing a deeper video about that later on. Freedom is not given. It is fought for and kept. I don't want to pay taxes. Yeah, we read that. Thank you. Most of the people I know who are conscious. Good info. I hope I spelled it correctly. A balance. Learning blockchain to go around that. Don't forget using Samurai to transfer Bitcoin on mobile. Interesting. Best book by Samuel Konkin to read. Best book by Samuel Konkin, I would say start with the New Libertarian Manifesto. The Agorist Primer is good. The book I'm about to release is called Counter Economics. Actually, I'll show you guys a quick preview of that. I'll show you guys just a quick preview of that in a moment. But yeah, start with the first one, New Libertarian Manifesto. I will say this, Konkin's reading is sometimes not the most accessible to some people. So that's why I'm taking some of his work and rewriting it and updating it for the digital age, so that people who are just not going to read his kind of dry stuff can actually learn more about what it means. Because when I found agorism and counter economics, to me it was like, holy crap, there's a solution. There's actually stuff that, you know, can take place that can lead to more freedom. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm focused on. And if you're interested in that, I think agorism is really the way to go. All right, guys. I think that I'm going to probably, hypocrites are everywhere. Health is the biggest conspiracy. Yeah, I think that's true. You say your desktop is fried? Maybe that's why the video stream is breaking up. No, I'm on a separate computer. My desktop is fried, and that's why I'm doing everything on my laptop, because I used to have the stream running on my desktop, but that's not working. And all right, guys. I think the stream is just not working that great, so I'm going to just sign off for now. I'll probably upload this video, a recorded version that's better for you guys instead of just relying on this stream because it's not working good tonight. So that's it. Just wanted to share that about Anarchapulco. Wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about creating freedom in our lives, agorism, counter-economics, building intentional communities, actually taking steps to free the world, not relying on these external systems, the usual. Until next time, guys, remember, you are powerful, you are beautiful, you are free. Peace.